Its car setup isn't the hot bring forth that we'd have preferred, however with a real trunk that holds things and space for individuals and things, the 2016 Subaru WRX STI still figures out how to mix sharp execution with day-by-day drivable utility. Where the Subaru begins with economy auto roots and includes go-quicker bits, the 2017 Nissan 370Z Nismo was developed starting from the earliest stage execution as a main priority. A conventional, low-through sports roadster with a major V6 motor in advance and the most stretched-out tires that Nissan could fit under the wheel curves out back, the Z is nearly the perfect inverse of the STI. Both of these brilliant red autos have a similar point, to go speedier, yet approach this awesome issue from various closures of the range. With a course as our scenery, we let go them up to make sense of which is the best. Drive framework and a 305 volt turbocharged 4-barrel motor, the Subaru begins with an all the more cutting-edge powertrain. Amid the race, we anticipated that the Subi would have a footing advantage off of the line, all things considered. Finding the sweet spot to drop the mallet demonstrated troublesome. Too high or too low in the all-wheel drive framework would simply impede, yet in the long run we got it without flaw, beating the back-wheel drive Z off of the line and to triumph. Afterward, in the city, we kept running into our first shock of this shootout. The car's ride was about as rebuffing as the low-through Z Roadster over hindrances and uneven asphalt. The Lodge blasted and reverberated more street clamor in spite of the Subaru's smaller tires. It's bizarre, however we figured that Subaru needed to take more intense measures with the STI's suspension to compensate for its tall car body. That body ended up being one of the Subi's greatest focal points. With space for 5 travelers and an extensive trunk for garbage, the WRX STI could fill in as an everyday driver for individuals with needs past the track or byway garages. Presently, neither of these vehicles is the thing that we'd call a tech auto, yet the Subaru's in-dash framework wins only a couple of more guides thanks toward its Starlink-associated auto highlights. However, even those the Z does things more old school. In its motor inlet is a normally suction, 350 torque V6 motor mated to a 6-speed manual transmission with synchro rev matching, the main genuine piece of execution upgrading PC duplicity, putting energy to the back wheels as God planned. A large group of Nismo marked suspension updates, enormous raised wheels, more huge Bridgestone S001 tires round out the Nismos to a great extent. Simple rundown of execution overhauls. Propelling the Z for the race was dubious in its own particular manner. Getting a decent begin involved finding the correct dispatch RPM and after that getting off of the grip rapidly. However, one moment that you turn the tires through second rigging. That looks amazing, however won't win you any races. Regardless of having more power than the Subaru, the all-wheel drive STI's footing favorable position implied the Z Nismo scarcely lost our 1/8 mile race. With a full quarter-mile drag to extend its legs through, we concur that the Nissan would have likely gotten in past the Subi. Out and about, the Z shockingly coordinated the Subaru for ride comfort. Nissan has completed a better-than-average employment with the 370Z suspension conveying an on-street ride that is harsh, yet completes a great job of drenching up generally knocks. Be that as it may, the agonizingly Limit-Recaro dashing seats lose the Z the greater part of that cooperative attitude. We'd essentially rather sit on the Subaru seats for generally trips. Add to that the car's close absence of room for anything besides the driver and one companion, and the Z can't contend with the Subaru as an everyday driver. Back at the track for some hot laps, the Z turned out to be the better time of the two track autos. It wasn't as PC predictable as the Subaru, yet with less electronic babysitters and a superior association with the motor and to the street, the Z was certainly the all the more relating drive. The Z additionally appeared to can possibly return speedier laps in the hand of a gifted driver and, on the grounds that it didn't shroud our mix-ups, influenced us to feel like a somewhat better driver with each lap. In any case, enormous oversights were all the more rebuffing in the Z, however that is a piece of the adrenaline surge. Notwithstanding, At $41,990 to begin and just once again $46,000 as tried, the Z Nismo is more costly than the Subaru, which maximizes at around $40,000. We'd additionally peril that the Z is likely more costly to work after some time with its bigger, substantially more costly tires and brakes. Both of these autos are amazing in their own particular manners, yet there must be one victor. In spite of its more tightly seats and low ride, the Z really turned out to be only a hair more agreeable out and about than the Subaru, which appears to nearly overcompensate for its no-bunks roots with a rebuffing ride. It's strange, we know. Be that as it may, and in spite of this, the Subaru turned out to be the better day-by-day driver with its rearward sitting arrangement and usable trunk. With space for four, it could fill in as a boisterous and awkward basic need getter. We'd rather spend a day at the track with the Nissan. It's simply more enjoyable to drive and has more execution potential. The Subaru was a more predictable track star and is likely more agreeable by drivers of all expertise levels. In any case, the Subi's additional utility implies that you could stack it up with a cooler, instruments, perhaps a tent, and the kind of rigging that makes the time between the laps at a track day more charming also. With the Z Nismo there's scarcely space for a cap and a sack lunch. It wasn't a simple decision, however, for its capacity to reliably shred around the course as well as to get us and our things to and from the track and wherever in the middle of. The champ of this roadshow shootout is the Subaru WRX STI.